Welcome back to another interesting segment of Cutting Edge 2026, where we sit with innovators who dare to go beyond every known boundary. Joining us today is someone whose journey has been anything but conventional. From painting cars for his first job and building a successful freelance career, and reaching the top 10% of global talent on Upwork within 6 months. He's someone who has consistently challenged expectations and created opportunities where others saw obstacles. But what makes this story truly remarkable is today he's the co-CEO of MOAI, a health tech startup using artificial intelligence to tackle one of the world's most pressing healthcare challenges, the early detection of oral cancer. He's none other than Shenal Ganegoda. He's a fellow IITian as well. Shenal, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for the intro.
So, before diving into MOAI, I'd like to start off the story behind auto painting. That's a very niche market. So, why auto painting?
Yeah, so once I was done with my A-levels in 2020, so I had a little bit of interest for cars, maybe, working with them.
Right.
So what I did was, hire a car painter and then go directly for that.
Right.
That just made a little bit of interest I had.
Right.
So that's basically why I went for car painting.
Okay, so how was the experience like when you got into auto painting, and what was the industry like?
Of course, yes. It's a totally different experience from tech, to be honest.
Yes.
Because working with, the boss is a
Right.
really difficult job.
Yeah.
So that's one of the main challenges to go with.
Right.
Managing those and the finances, also the customers as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. So how did you like transition from auto painting to Upwork? Like, what made you make that transition? Like, did the auto painting business work out, or?
Yeah, that's the thing. It didn't work out because right now when I look back at it, I get what I did wrong.
Right.
Because I had very few clients as well. And then I wasn't exposed enough to the market.
Right.
That was one of the specific reasons for failing. And also another thing was the prices of the goods that we use for car painting went skyrocketing. And also, just like I mentioned, we had very few clients, so we couldn't bear up. So I managed and I decided to go and stop it all.
Right.
And then I went for UI UX.
Oh.
Yeah, directly I went to that.
Interesting.
And that's where the transition actually began.
Okay, that's actually a great takeaway, I think, for the viewers out there, because majority of startups in Sri Lanka are failing. But I think that's a part of the whole process, so that we can always fail and learn a lesson and move on. And I think that has helped you to become the person you are today. So that's a great takeaway. So let's look into Upwork. So how did you get into Upwork?
So yeah, funny story. So I went for auditions here at IIT for this was KOI auditions.
Right.
And then I met this person called Aroshana.
Okay.
He was the one who introduced me to Upwork. So before that, I had no idea what Upwork was. So he helped me out with the complete process, and it was very tough to find the first client, right? It's a very competitive market.
Exactly.
And then it took me around 6 months to land my first client. So the more you stay on the platform, the better it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, I think in a conversation that we had earlier, so you mentioned how important it is to play around with Upwork so that you get familiar. So I think the first 6 months must have really helped you get into Upwork and really see what's working out and what's not working out. And I think to the viewers out there, I think slow progress is not no progress. I think it's all part of the process. So at the end, you were able to hit the top 10% of global talent on Upwork in 6 months. And what's crazy about it is that this is the whole platform, which includes 18 million plus freelancers spread across 180 countries. That's a huge, vast area that you're covering. So how did you do this? I think you must have worked really hard, but at the same time, you have to be smart to identify how to stand out from the others. So how did that happen?
Yeah, so I do Upwork consulting as well right now. If you go through my socials, you have content there as well.
Right.
So there's three things that I mentioned for when it comes to consulting to my clients. First one is make sure you niche down as much as possible.
Right.
Your specific niche. So imagine you're a developer, so you have to place yourself as a back-end developer, or you have to go niche down as much as possible.
Right.
And then once you've placed down your niche, you have to build a solid portfolio around it.
Yes.
So that's what the clients look at first, the portfolio. Based on that is how you get the job, right? So after that, just like I mentioned the other day, you have to stay on Upwork as much as you can. So you understand the lingo.
Yeah.
So yeah, the more you stay and spend time on Upwork, the more you get close to this lingo. That's how you win on Upwork.
Right. I think the viewers out there, I think that's a great starting point for
Of
many people, because you might not always land on the job that you want, but freelancing is a great way to start and to learn on the go. So that's very interesting.
Yeah, I just gave away free advice.
Yes. All right. So now let's look into MOAI. So, which is the whole reason why we're here and the reason why we are connecting, because of the startup. So, how did the idea come about for MOAI?
So when it comes to MOAI, we started off building SaaS projects. So the first one we did was a body management system,
Right.
which is the name was MOAI,
Right.
which stands for a group of closely knitted people. This comes from a book called Ikigai.
Right.
Yeah. So if anyone's watching, it's a great book to read. Yeah. So that is basically how the name come upon, and we actually went on and built a few other projects as well. And along the road, we came across this project called Kadapatha.
Right.
Yeah, that's actually our main product right now. And we brought the MOAI name, which was the body management system name, to our complete company.
Right.
That's how MOAI was born.
It's very beautiful, the meaning behind the name. It's how, and it's a very important thing as well, because the people behind would actually contribute like stitch by stitch to like ultimately tailor the final product. It's a
Exactly.
beautiful process, and the people behind are very, very important. And I think you're very lucky on that part as well, to have to work with your brother and
Of course, yes.
the other partner as well. So that's great. So before we look into these individual projects, like you mentioned, Kadapatha, Aura, and Kuse, I'd like to know why oral cancer? Why did you move towards that side?
Yeah, so why specifically oral cancer is, so our main product is Kadapatha,
Right.
which is an oral cancer risk prediction system. I'll get into detail when we
Right.
go further.
Sure.
So oral cancer is actually the easiest NCD to screen.
Right.
So for an example, if it's lung cancer, we have to go with CT scans, right?
Okay.
So there's low dose CT scans, and then there's high dose CT scans as well. So they are very cost effective, and the process is very lengthy as well. So when it comes to oral cancer, if you go to a dentist and if you have a lesion, you show it to the dentist, and he can accurately check if it's a cancerous lesion or not. More nudging towards if it's cancer or not. So if it's cancerous, you can actually direct them to a Kalubowil hospital for a biopsy.
Right.
So why specifically we went with oral cancer is we have the plan of going for other NCDs as well. For us to get this workflow, validated,
Right.
it's the best part to start with.
Right.
That's exactly why we went with oral cancer.
Yeah, that's actually very interesting, because I know a person as well who has had a cancer on the roof of his mouth, and to think that cancers can be developed in such niche, like we would never imagine things like that. So it's crazy how the human body works as well. So I think it's great that you have started with
Exactly.
an area like that. Plus, you mentioned that it's one of the most common
Exactly, yeah.
cancers
So
in
1 in 3 cancers in Sri Lanka men is oral cancer, and also there's 2 to 3 deaths per day as well. This is according to the National Cancer Control Program.
Okay.
Also, the issue is 80% of these cancers are diagnosed at a later stage.
Okay.
So what we are planning to do here is, it's 80%, right? Bring that down drastically. So earlier we, find out the risk patients, the amount of deaths we can solve and bring down. That's our main goal.
That's an amazing contribution you're making towards Sri Lanka. I think there's so many smokers out there, so this is very common. So that's great. So could you give us a brief idea of these individual projects that y'all are running, Kadapatha, Aura, Kuse?
Of course. So to start with Kadapatha,
Right.
it's like a flagship product. So what we do there is it's completely based on research that was done by Professor Hemant at Srijadharapur campus, who's the dental faculty's head, and also it's based on research that was done by him. So the research is basically you give out your information, the how much betel quid you chew, and also how much of alcohol consumption you do. So based on that, it gives out a risk score.
Right.
So that's basically it on Kadapatha.
Okay.
So if you are high risk, we take them out for screening, physical screening at the dental clinic, and then if you find someone has these lesions, what we do is we direct them to the Kalubowila hospital for a biopsy.
Okay.
So that's basically Kadapatha. It's a mobile app and there's a web dashboard as well. The mobile app is for the users, patients, and also the web dashboard is for the clinicians.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if we talk about the timeline, when did y'all actually start?
So next we have Aura,
Okay.
which is basically a dental management system. So when you go to a dentist, it's completely on books, right?
Yes.
Basically, we have digitalized it.
Right.
So when we provide this to dental clinics, they can all put the reservations for each user, and also keep their data, for what specific reason they came for and what they did, and so on and so forth. So that's basically Aura.
Okay.
And the next we have Kuse. Kuse is basically an enhancement of Kadapatha.
Right.
So it's an oral cancer risk prediction system using vision language models.
Okay.
So in Kadapatha, we take the survey only, right?
Yes.
In Kuse, what we do is we take the survey and the lesion images as well. We combine them both using embeddings and also gives out accurate risk score. That's Kuse. So those three are main products right now.
Right. That's very cool. So we'll look into this more in the next part. So I'd like to ask, when did y'all really start MOAI?
So MOAI, we started back in like 2-3 years ago.
Right.
We started with just projects, just like I mentioned before, and we came step by step, and it's been a fun ride till now. Yeah.
Right. So if we compare MOAI 2-3 years back and now, did you imagine MOAI would reach this stage?
Of course not. So just like I mentioned before, we just started with a boarding management system, right? It's just a dashboard.
Exactly.
So we didn't just think, we just took action as much as possible and fast as we can. So right now we've managed to build a oral cancer risk prediction system, which is massive, and we've done a pilot as well with 20 students, and to our surprise, 10 of them were high risk as well. So that's actually a great achievement.
I mean,
from our point of
that's
view.
very true. It's a very interesting point you made there, because most children wait for that perfect idea to execute it. But like you mentioned, we should always start somewhere, and on the go we can always improve it. Maybe boarding management system to MOAI is a huge transition.
Exactly.
So that improvement is possible. I think that's a great takeaway for the viewers out there. So if you have any ideas, just start, assess your risk, and on the go you can always reduce the risk and be successful. So how has the journey of MOAI been so far?
Yeah, so it's tough, to be honest, but then again, what my role is, I'm the CEO, right? So I take care of the operations here.
Right.
So I've been fond of taking action as fast as I can. I don't overthink at all. So that's one of my key strengths when it comes to MOAI.
Right.
So I'm pretty sure that has specifically helped us come to this actual point. And also we have our other founders as well.
Right.
CTO, who's the growth officer, Janit Disanayake, and my brother,
Right.
CTO, Shenal Ganegoda.
Okay.
So they bring the vision. I make sure we can execute this here in Sri Lanka as fast as we can.
Right.
Yeah,
I think that's a great takeaway personally for me also, because I am a huge overthinker. So to any overthinkers out there, don't think too much, because that would be a disadvantage to you. So
Yeah.
like he mentioned, we should always execute any idea that we have.
exactly. So when it comes to overthinking, I'll just add up.
Right.
It's just as building a muscle as well. It's a skill, you have to work on it.
Right.
So if you go to gym, you work on specific, bicep and muscle parts, right?
Right.
It's very similar when it comes to overthinking as well. Overthinking, discipline, everything. You can work on them individually, and you can see them grow.
Right.
So you have to push as hard as you can,
Right.
even when it comes to overthinking.
Right. I guess. All right. So y'all have partnered a lot with University of Jayawardenepura and worked under the close supervision of Professor Hemant Amaratunga. And because of him, you were able to work closely with some students who were very helpful for your startup. And getting these data can be challenging given that it's a medical domain. So how has it been working with with a reputed university like University of Jayawardenepura?
Definitely. So just like you mentioned, Professor Hemanta has been very helpful, and also Dr. Kaumini,
Right.
also Dr. Isuru as well. I have to mention their names.
Okay.
They've been super helpful and super driven towards this as well. So without their trust and validation on this, and getting the students together to run our first pilot, that was a massive leap for us to go through.
Right.
I think their support was massive when it comes to this specific product.
Right. So I think you touched upon this earlier as well. So as a CEO, your title, the work or the role that you play at MOAI is not limited to co-CEO. You might have to look into various other parts of the company. And so what is your role like on like day to day? And given that you started during your degree at IIT,
Yeah.
how was the balance like with university work and your company work?
So when it comes to me, I love to juggle so many things in one go.
Right.
So again, I have developed this workflow and the system that helps me with that specific thing.
Right.
And again, I don't overthink. I just do the stuff that needs to be done.
Right.
That's one of the specific reasons I think I can juggle many things at once. So when it comes to my co-CEO position, when it comes to startup as well, it doesn't restrict me to just taking on the operations here in Sri Lanka. It diversifies when it comes to startup. So we have the same understanding with our CGO Janit and also my brother Shan as well.
Right.
We take on all the roles as it comes to us.
Right. So we'll get back to Janit and Shan as well. So before that, I'd like to explore on the market response. How has the market response been so far?
Yeah, definitely. So just like I mentioned, we ran our first pilot with 20 students,
Right.
and 10 of them were high risk, right?
Right.
So just like I mentioned, our workflow is you filter out the high risk patients and then bring them to physical screening.
Right.
And if they are high risk there, and if the dentist come up with a lesion, if they see a lesion, they will direct them to the Kalabola hospital, right?
Okay.
So 6 of them actually showed up, and one of them had this condition called smoker's keratosis,
Right.
which means that it's a ash haze kind of thing that stays under your upper lip. So basically, if what we did was we directed him to habit intervention, because it's just not cancer yet. It's not pre-cancer either. It's the stage before pre-cancer.
Okay.
So imagine if this turned out to be cancer in the upcoming years. That the fact that we managed to find that specific person high risk at an early stage, that is actually a life-changing moment. So the response we got from the clinicians and the dental faculty was immense, because they actually saw the vision, but seeing this specific product come into play was massive, and the response was very good.
So given that oral cancer is a very sensitive topic, clinical validation plays a huge role in that to build that sense of trust in the user. So for that, I think y'all are yet to partner with Remedium One. So what does that collaboration add in terms of safety and trust for users?
Yeah, I'm glad that you brought it up. Anyone can build this product, right? With the technology we have right now, with AI coming up, it's pretty easy to get a product out and open. So the thing is, when it comes to medical health, you need validation. Right now, we have the workflow completely validated. It works. We ran the pilot. It works completely. But what we need right now is clinically validating this.
Right.
So Remedium One is actually the largest clinical trials company here based in Sri Lanka. So that is the specific reason why we are partnering up with Remedium One to build the trust, just like you mentioned, on the product Kadapatha.
Right. So coming back to Shan and Janit, think they are also like huge pillars
Of course, yeah.
of MOAI. So how does this team work? Like what are the specific roles? I think y'all must have identified each one of your strengths and weaknesses and built a beautiful blend out of this. And also given that y'all are spread across different countries, how do y'all make the team work?
Of course. So I'm completely based here in Sri Lanka. My brother Shan, he's based in Singapore. He's the CTO. He takes care of the technical aspect of the products. And also we have Janit, who's the CGO.
Okay.
He shows the vision and also the growth of the company as well.
Right.
So yeah, just like you mentioned, we live in 3 countries. But then again, I mean, we have clarity on our products. So we know what we want, when we want it, and also why we want it as well. So I think that anchors us on the specific areas that needs to get things done, right?
Right.
So that's where the time barriers break out since we have clarity on our products.
Right. That's very cool. I think teamwork matters a lot.
Of course, yes.
Given that y'all are located in different countries, I think that adds a challenge as well. So it's very interesting to see how y'all are managing all of that and still managing to build this beautiful product. That's very inspiring. So let's come back to IIT.
Right.
So like you mentioned, I think in the conversation that we had earlier, so A-levels was, so you come from a non-tech background to a tech background. That transition is something that many people are afraid of taking. So from health science and business studies for A-levels to cars, then freelancing, and to this field. That transition is very unconventional. But you've done that. So, and I believe the learning curve was very high in these transitions, in each transition, not just into MOAI. So how has the learning curve been?
Yeah, it's a bit tough, to be honest, when it comes to new different industries. You have to work on it so much, right? So when it comes to programming, I took my first lecture here at IIT. It was Java. And I actually fell in love with it. So it was pretty interesting for me, the WOP concepts, right? Those kind of stuff, right? So how Alan Kay, he's the guy who came up with the concept WOP, and how he came up with it. He, from what I can remember, he had this background in medical side as well. So he saw how these cells work in our body, and that's what he brought into programming, how the WOP concept works. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That was crazy for me.
Right.
So I went hard on Java, and that actually gave me the confidence on programming. So what I basically did was I saw there was a system that goes into going in on new industries and conquering them. Basically, you stay on it and then work hard on it, and then once you have the confidence, it's just free flowing.
Right. So I think it's also important to look into the parents' reaction as well. Because at this stage in life, we're at a very confusing stage because we're not like, we don't have a hard and fast path laid out like, okay, I'm going to do this. I mean, there are students like that, which is great. But most of the time, people are not very like anchored that, okay, I'm going to do this, I'll do this. The next 10 years is very confusing. So in such a case, I think the parents' support is very important. So, how was your parents' reaction when you were transitioning like this?
Yeah, so from an early age, I was very stubborn. So
Right.
they couldn't control me anyways. So,
Okay.
and also they didn't actually, box me as well. I think that helped me out a lot because,
Right.
as you can see, I've, planted myself on different industries, right?
Right.
Yeah. So parents being supportive is very important, to be honest.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think this is a great time to speak about your elder brother. So he has been your best friend, and you've probably had fights with him, and you've played with him. So from that to transitioning into business, so that's serious, and this is personal. So how has that transition been? I think that must have been interesting for you.
Of course, yeah. So with my brother, of course, that's a completely different story. We used to not, like each other back then.
Right.
But then again, I was very stubborn, just like I mentioned. He had his patience and he was like, "තාම කියනවා ඔයා ලොකු වෙනකන් ඉන්නකෝ මම බලන්න ඊට පස්සේ." And then we came to that phase where we both think alike, right?
Right.
Yeah. And then he was actually the one who pushed me into programming. Every specific thing, a lot goes into him as well. I have to give. I can't give enough much credit to him.
Right.
So, yeah, when it comes to my brother, we both think alike. I think that plays a big role when it comes to company as well.
Right.
We have the same vision and the passion. Also, we think alike completely most of the time. We have a better understanding on what we bring into the company as well. So that helps us a lot because from what I know, if the co-founders can't, communicate with each other on a positive level,
Yeah.
there's going to be bad conflicts.
That's very
So
true.
bringing up technology is easy. Working with people is the hard part.
Yeah, that's very true. So I think you were lucky on that part that y'all think alike. But I think there are many cases where there can be disagreements, like we don't think exactly in the same way. So Janit, like you mentioned, is the person who's like giving the vision. So if y'all feel like y'all are not on the same page about something, how do y'all like discuss about it?
Yeah, so normally we sync in more weekly as well. So just like I mentioned before, we have clarity on our products. Why do we want this? When do we want this? And how we are going to do this as well. So it makes things much simpler.
Right.
So for someone starting out in any specific area, what you should do is you should have clarity first, right?
Right.
On anything. When it comes to studies as well, why you are doing this? You need to have clarity.
Yes.
As much as clarity you have on the product or studies or anything, when it comes to startup as well, why you are doing this, gets much easier to get along with all the co-founders, and also the vision that he brings in makes it easier for us to execute as well. So I just spoke with a guy who works in HR for a apparel industry. So he said that they use something called 5 whys to work with the workers there.
Right.
So what basically it means is they ask. So the workers come and complain, right? They say the machine is not working. So they go, why is it not working? And they come up with another one. So if you dig deep for 5 whys, you will find the core problem there.
Right.
That's something interesting I found out yesterday. So
Right.
yeah, thought I'd put it here.
Right, that's very interesting. I think it's the whole thing is like a ride in the car while it's raining. I was just thinking about that. You know, when it gets foggy, I think the start can be very foggy at start.
Exactly, yeah.
But every time we always try to clear the path, like you said, question why is this happening, and we just try to clear the fog and clear the path and have clarity in your mind. I think that's a great takeaway to anyone watching out there, and to me as well personally. So let's looking to the future for MOAI. What's the bigger vision for MOAI?
Yeah, so we're starting out with oral cancer, just like I mentioned, because we have to validate the workflow, and then we will be getting this clinically validated by Remedium 1 as well. And we have a letter of intent got by the army as well. So once we have the pilot done, the full pilot done with the dental faculty, we will be rolling out with the SL army as well.
Right.
Yeah. So once we validate the complete flow for oral cancer, we will be jumping on to the other NCDs as well. As a bigger target, what we tend to do and target to do is build a complete NCD platform for the complete population here in Sri Lanka.
Right.
So basically, if you have a Kadapatha application, you can send out your information and find out how much of risk you have for each specific NCD.
Right.
So the issue we have is here a couple of So one of the major issues we have here is when it comes to the government, they break out a budget for this cancer medicine, right? But the thing is, they don't have the specific data on how much of medicine. So I'm just keeping this very basic, okay?
Right.
So how much of medicine they have to bring in to the country to treat the people.
Right.
So they just bring a load of amount, right? So most of them go to waste because they don't have the specific data.
Right.
So if we can get this product up and running for all the NCDs, we will have the data on how much of a risk these whole population have.
Right.
So that would actually help the government on a bigger scale as well to bring those budgets down.
Right.
And also for the people as well. So imagine if it's a family, right? So if it's a family, one of them has a cancer risk and they don't know, and it comes to a bad stage, and the person goes out, right? It's a huge mental burden and a financial burden as well. So the whole picture is bring those all financial burdens and the mental burdens as down as possible. That's our main target when it comes to Kadapatha.
Right, right. I think it's great that y'all are collaborating with the Sri Lankan army so that we can maybe like go into rural areas where this is happening. So I think the accessibility gets easier with that collaboration. That's really great, the contribution y'all are making towards Sri Lanka. So this is more of a personal question related to MOAI. So what kind of founder do you want to become through this journey?
Right, that's a good question. So right now my specific position is CEO, right? Just like I mentioned before, it gets pretty diverse when it comes to starting out on a startup. I jump into the technical side. Also, we plan on growth as well, and the other planning stuff, and day-to-day executions as well.
Right.
So I feel like my strengths rely completely on operations, because just like I mentioned before, I don't overthink. I can take action pretty fast. I'm trying to anchor on that as much as possible and scale the company as fast as possible as well.
Right.
So that's what I'm planning on doing for the rest of the journey.
I think that's a great skill that many of us should improve on. I don't think, I mean, like I said, I overthink a lot. So I'm currently working on it. So yeah, I think it's very interesting, the fact that you have reduced overthinking and how that has contributed towards the growth of the company is very, very interesting. So what advice would you give to someone out there, given that you started out from health science and business studies to car painting? That whole journey it's like the waves of the sea. It's all very different from one to another. So what advice would you give to someone out there who has an idea but is hesitating to start?
Yeah, again, you don't have to overthink it. Just take action, right? And be delusional as much as possible.
Yeah.
So go at it as fast as you can, and even if it's a company, never overthink. You can get it done as much as possible if you overthink it very less.
Right. Yeah, so thank you, Shenal, for joining with us. It has been incredible listening to your story. It's been very inspiring for me, and I'm sure for the viewers out there. So any final thoughts that you'd like to share?
So as final thoughts, people tend to overthink, just like I mentioned before. Just be delusional and stay consistent and make sure you go hard as possible.
Right.
Yeah, that should work.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shenal. And so as we've heard today, Shenal's journey has never followed a straight line. From health science to auto painting, from freelancing on Upwork to becoming one of the platform's top 10 peasant of global talent, and now serving as the co-CEO of startups using AI to create real impact in healthcare. So every chapter of his story, he has challenged the idea that success has to follow a predefined path. So that's a great takeaway. So every transition required him to cross a boundary that many would have seen as a hurdle. And that's exactly what Cutting Edge is all about. It's about looking beyond the path that has been already laid out for you and having the courage to push past it, beyond every known boundary. I'll see you there.